Hey, Rosebud.
How are you?
I am doing better now that I'm here doing our wonderful podcast with you.
Oh, well, thanks. Today is going to be for anyone in a partnership who's ever wondered why getting healthy together feels harder than doing it alone.
Amen.
But also, while going at it solo often leads to distance, resentment, and even divorce.
And the Do We Have To crew, welcome to another fantastic episode of Do We Have To, a marriage podcast. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Emily.
It's a Not Actual Family Studios production, executive producer, Colin Schmedium Maskell.
Yeah, recording live from Kansas City.
Yep, on youtube.com/at Do We Have To, a marriage podcast, all major podcast apps. And you can also find our archive at dowehavето.com.
Yeah.
Today's an important one, don't you think?
I do. And I think it's interesting and kind of ironic that we record in our dining room because, as you know, most of the major conversations happen around the dinner table.
Yeah, it's funny though. We don't ever eat dinner in here really unless it's like a special occasion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're like a bunch of fucking nomads running around this house just picking and pulling away.
In between.
Lucky if we get a tuna fish sandwich in this moment.
In between every activity known to man.
That's right. Absolutely. And we're not only going to have that today as we're visiting Emily and I's health journey and providing insights on what we've done, what we've been successful with, where we've failed. We're also going to get back to 90s nostalgia coming from the week of the 31st of November all the way through the 6th of December. Mm-hmm. And then we're also going to be pulling a card live on air. And it's going to be a deeper card for our wonderful Let's Get Deep. And we're going to be doing the relationship version of that game today.
Yeah, the one for couples. Today really is going to be an episode about, couples and how they navigate things together because we are definitely a couple that has failed every way imaginable with our weight loss journey. Mm-hmm. And we've done it alone. We've done it together. We've done it for each other. We've tried to set goals for each other. But honestly, it wasn't until life happened that forced us into a corner that made our mindset shift.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And stay tuned for that, the wonderful Do We Have To crew. We're also going to, at the end, of course, provide all of our socials and as well as give you all the updates on our wonderful Peloton team, the Do We Have To crew, and talk about who finished in the top 20, speaking of our health journey.
Yeah.
But no, I completely agree. I mean, I still think we're actually working on it, which I think that's why it's a perfect time to have this conversation with the Do We Have To crew and talk about our experiences because we still haven't got it all figured out yet. Mm-hmm. So we're still in that process of experimenting. I mean, I think we're obviously more successful than we're not every day, but we're still got a lot of work to do.
Well, and we're also in the month of December, so we've got 1 month left of the year of 2025. So while people are spending some time thinking about, goals maybe for the new year, which we've also done in the past episodes, we've done like family goals and stuff like that and coming up with mission statements. And we're going to revisit ours and see what we want to adjust and change and add to for the next year. So go back and check those episodes out too. But I think it's a good time of year to just chat about it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I know we're getting ready to get into 90s nostalgia. Mm-hmm. And of course, what do you think of? Because I feel like 90s was a pretty wild time when it comes to weight loss in general. You had all the like infomercials, Tybo, Richard Simmons? Remember Richard Simmons?
Oh, yeah. The little
Metabolife. Remember Metabolife guy? Everybody fucking took?
Yeah.
I mean, we were still fairly young. I think like towards the end of high school when that was like a big thing.
But I did Metabolife.
Everywhere. Slim Fast.
Yeah.
Like just think about like the diet craze, where people thought about how food worked back then. Like everything didn't have fat in it. And now where things are now. And I still don't think there's a lot of good education out there, but it was an interesting fucking time full of landmines.
Yeah.
And Emily and I, we're babies of the 80s. We're children of the 90s. And on a weekly basis, we love to travel back in time, just like Marty McFly, and get the old DeLorean.
Sorry.
What did you just say on air? Did you say who's Marty McFly?
Yeah.
Do we have to crew? I have to sincerely apologize on behalf of my wife.
I don't know that name.
All right, hey, go to dowehavto.com, submit a question. When I said Marty McFly, please tell me that you didn't do what Emily did and was like, who's Marty McFly? It's the fucking main character from Back to the Future, Emily. It's Michael J. Fox.
I didn't know that was his last name. Or his first name.
Have you seen those movies?
No. Well, I mean, I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never seen.
I'm so glad we didn't have this conversation when we were doing marriage prep, because I tell you what, I probably would have had some concerns.
I don't think I've ever seen the movie all the way through.
And to the Catholic Church, maybe we add a couple questions about, interests and hobbies in that predetermined, hey, are you meant to be together or not thing, Maybe take a couple of the financial questions out, throw in a couple questions about fucking Back to the Future.
Okay, go on.
Jesus Christ. I don't even know where we're getting in our DeLorean, and I swear to God, if you ask what that is, we're going to just stop recording right now. But we're going to get in our DeLorean.
It's a car.
Thank you. From Back to the Future. And we're going to travel back to the 90s. And as I had mentioned earlier in our intro of the show, we're going to be focusing specifically on the week of the 31st of November through the 6th of December. And lots of things going on during that period of time. Some of them repetitive, and so I'm going to leave those out. But we mentioned the Rugrats movie, but we're talking about now that we've mentioned previously.
No, I know, but
You didn't see it.
No.
I said it was depressing. However, this week, specifically with the soundtrack and specifically the hit Take Me There, was at the top of the charts, which is a great song by Maya. I know
Maya,
that, right?
I know that song.
Okay, yeah. Take Me There, I Want to Go There song with Mace.
Yeah.
It's a fucking banger of a song. That's the Rugrats soundtrack. It came and it was awesome disc. And I'm going to see if I can find it and make Colin post it up here while I'm talking about it. But the CD itself was like a yellow CD, and it was a dope ass CD. I miss CDs just because digital is very convenient. I miss CDs though just because of the artwork, the album cover. Of course, you can get that on thing, but there's something different about having it in that little box of plastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now it's like everybody's wanting vinyls again.
Well, I do, and like vinyl, but vinyl does that for you though, because you do have the big old square artwork, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, yep. And so here's another one, and Uncle Keith is gonna hate this. I don't know if Uncle Keith even listens to the show. He barely sets his lineup on the fantasy football family deal. So, but Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" is climbed in the international charts, and it's become one of the most listened to holiday songs of all time, even up to that point. And that's when she released it in December of 1994. December 2nd specifically. It's
an iconic song.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, it doesn't go, I mean, it's a timeless song. I think our kids will still enjoy that song, assuming the apocalypse hasn't taken us all out.
Sure.
Yeah. Is that one of those songs you just immediately have to listen to when Christmas time hits? Like, is that one for you have to hit right away?
It's definitely on the list, yeah.
I mean, I enjoy it. But you know what I've transitioned to now? And
mine is 90s. Polar Express.
Oh, I love Polar Express, but Wheatus's new version of their song Teenage Dirtbag, which is Christmas Dirtbag.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why, but every time Christmas hits around, that's the first thing I have to listen to. Yeah. Highly recommend Do We Have to Crew. If you haven't listened to Wheatus's update to their song Teenage Dirtbag to Christmas Dirtbag, it is fantastic and can be found on iTunes. Shout out Apple.
Yeah.
Janet Jackson, another music wonderful trend here. She reached number 1 on December 4th, 1993 for, and of course, the song was called Poetic Justice, which ironically is the name of the movie that she was in, which is getting national acclaim during that time. Tupac Shakur. Mm-hmm. Tupac Shakur. Tupac. No? You didn't see the movie? Tupac is a mailman, and they're driving across state in California, and he's taking Janet Jackson with him. Janet Jackson suffered a tragedy. She had a boyfriend who I believe was a drug dealer and got shot in the head when they were about to fool around at a drive-in movie theater. And her and Tupac don't like each other at first. You'd be surprised by that.
But and then they fall in love.
Steadily they grow with each other. They take another couple on the road with them. They're a shit show. And eventually Tupac fights the guy. It's pretty fun. And they were previously they were friends, but he hit a woman. Tupac doesn't stand for that because he's a stand-up guy. Rest in power, King. And really good movie. If you haven't seen that, Emily, those are like those types of 90 movies. They're just like, I don't know if this is a 90s movie or not, but like Love and Basketball, Poetic Justice, Save the Last Dance. Like I would put all those movies together. You got to watch all of those.
Okay.
I know you've seen Save the Last Dance. And I still think that's 2000s, but that's close enough. You've seen Love and Basketball? Oh, I made you watch that. That's why. Yeah, you're welcome. Boys to Men on Bended Knee, December 3rd, 1994. It knocked their own previous number one single from the top spot, marking a peak moment for the 90s R&B. You know what that previous song was?
No.
I'll make love to you like you want me to.
Okay.
The song we listen to when we fool around all the time.
We don't, but yeah.
Whitney Houston from has Exhale, or Shoop Shoop, I guess is also called, holds the number one spot in December 2nd of 1995. And it's one of her few of her songs that debuted at number one and stayed there. And it was featured on the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. Did you see Waiting to Exhale?
I did.
That's a good movie. And a great banger of a cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about products and technology. Tickle Me Elmo. December 1st through the 6th, the whole week, there's nothing but buzz on the news. And I've actually seen a ton of videos about this. People going fucking crazy, losing their minds.
My mom and dad were actually one of those people out searching for a Tickle Me Elmo for my little sister.
I was going to say, Connor would have been 5. So I assume mom did, but mom and dad did all that crazy get up at 5 o'clock in the morning shit. Shout out Papa Ron, because I know he didn't want to do it. But mom had him get up and like go up at stores at midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and she would hit that hard Black Friday.
Yeah.
So during that time, national news covered store fights, empty shelves, and inflated resale prices. And there was nothing like, when you think Christmas too, especially during the 90s, it is the Black Friday nutball extravaganza that would occur, and how horrible people were to each other. I mean, these people died during that time.
Well, I mean, we would go shopping, but I don't remember anybody dying or fighting for that matter. I also remember the Jones sales at midnight.
Right. Yeah.
That my mom and grandma would take us to.
I mean, people just pile in on top of each other.
I've also worked several Black Fridays
You couldn't pay enough.
in my retail years. And sometimes they were really fun because the stores made it fun. And as a manager, it was different. But as an employee, sometimes it was just like absolutely awful and dreading. And like, it just depends on who you worked for, like what company you were working for. But I love that in the last like recent years, like stores are not opening until Friday. Like nobody's having Black Thursday sale or Black Friday sales on the Thursday, like starting at like 7 or 8 on Thanksgiving night anymore.
Yeah, it is definitely different now. And I think for the better. I mean, that's where I think we did a good correction, because people weren't being responsible with it, number one. And then number two, you're throwing people that are getting paid minimum wage in not only in danger, but you're making them work all kinds of weird hours during the holidays. And, you know, retail, it requires you to work different hours, but you don't have to do that kind of bullshit.
Right. And there's so much online shopping now that it kind of like...
I don't think people want to go and deal with it.
It takes out, like just do your cyber doorbuster things and be done with it.
I still think it would be totally badass. I'm just coming up with an idea here. One store a year, like they do a lottery. And it's like the Targets, your Walmarts, whatever. They do a national like lottery of like these corporate things, right? And it takes a certain amount of requirements to be able to even be a part of this lottery. They let one company get to do a Black Friday event across the country. And it is no holds barred, and it is purge rules. No crime for 24 hours on the lot of that store.
What?
Yeah. What do you think?
So a bunch of people dying?
Well, I mean, if it has to happen, but like for the sake of Christmas and commercialism and all that sort of stuff, you put the best deals. Like you make iPads like a cent, and you only have 10 of them. They have to have some sort of product like that, and then you just let them go. What do you think?
No.
We call Netflix. We get a docu-series for it as it's getting built up.
That's like the Hunger Games running to the cornucopia. Like, no.
Exactly.
No.
Okay. Well, I just want to bring some of that 90s nostalgia back to Christmas shopping. That's all right. So let's talk about some pop culture moments, huh?
Okay.
All right. Britney Spears, Baby One More Time. It's it is being distributed all around the world in all different languages at this point in time in 1998. It is at its peak as far as video distribution. Mm-hmm. Did you like that music video?
Yeah, but I was also a Catholic schoolgirl, so like we all thought we were fucking Britney Spears.
Because you guys had the Catholic schoolgirl outfit on? So then put you...
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, she's speaking for the voiceless there, isn't she? I never really thought about that. I didn't go to Catholic school when I was a kid, so I just didn't even think anything of it. I was like, oh,
she turned the uniform that we hated and that we would always get in trouble for rolling our skirts and all of that crap. And
she turned the system upside down. Huh?
Yeah, she made it.
How many of you guys got in trouble for trying to dress like her with your schoolgirl outfits after that video appeared?
Well, we weren't like, our skirts had to be a certain length. Like when you knelt, it had to touch the floor. But we would always roll them. Uh-huh. And then when they would ask us to like...
How do they confirm whether you're obliging by the rules or not?
Because there was 2 teachers in middle school that would literally make you kneel on the floor in the hallway. And if your skirt didn't touch the ground, you were in trouble.
Out of curiosity, were they likable teachers or they suck?
I mean,
the ones that enforce the rules.
You liked them, but you were also terrified of them. But when you left school, good human beings, though. When you left school, you admired them.
Sure. Okay. Good stand-up human beings, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So they were completely within their rights of needing to adhere to that.
Yeah, but like then you would just, once you did it, then when you went to the bathroom, you would just roll your waistband again.
I mean, I loved that video, and I honestly was never really into Britney Spears initially. And then, I mean, she's one of the best pop stars of all time. She's no Taylor Swift, but she's up there.
Yeah, but like we couldn't have it like unbuttoned down and
all
tied
all
off. Like no, it had to be tucked in, and like.
I'm not slut shaming, by the way. I think she looked fantastic, but that's what I think some people would describe that as. Not me. I call it beautiful.
Okay.
How about December 3rd through the 6th? And you're going to like this because, you're a Foo Fighters fan, and that's what they came from. And Nirvana's MTV Unplugged. So they started having those MTV Unplugs in the early 90s. This was one that was so popular, had such a high rating that during this week that we're talking about for 90s nostalgia, they replayed it, I think, a record amount of times, like on overnights and just filling up content or airtime for MTV during off-peak or off-show hours.
I've never seen their Unplugged.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, well, let's watch that. Because that would be awesome. And sometime when we're on our cruise, we should watch that. Okay. When we're sitting around having a Mai Tai. I think it'd be a lot of fun. You would really enjoy it. It's good. I mean, it's not our Dashboard Confessional MTV Unplugged. Shout out Dashboard. But it's like probably it's my second favorite. For sure. I mean, it's awesome. Okay. And you can see our wonderful Dave Grohl in the background playing the drums. Nice. And I tell you should see how he looks in this versus what he looks like today. It is interesting. He looks like just a little boy with his long hair, but he was all gangly. He looks a lot different. He's a man's man now, but back then it was something else. But anyway, this got so much playtime and people were watching it even no matter when they were putting out the content. And so it was like a big thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why that continued on, that Unplugged brand.
Nice.
Yep. And I mentioned already the Rugrat movie signed up. Now let's talk about some major events. World AIDS Day. Now this is observed annually, obviously, but in the 90s, this was pretty much its peak as far as awareness, the transition of going from AIDS, which was like looked at as almost like you're a leper if you have it, right? We can't drink out of people's fucking water, the water fountains, that kind of shit, hysteria, to then, really focusing on the human aspect of it, removing the taboos, and then also, fundraising for it. And then they started doing this. Now, I believe World AIDS Day started like in 89, but 90s is like when it was happening.
Wasn't it also like MTV Real World? Like, didn't they have like their first person with AIDS on?
I don't know. That's a great question. I know I can tell you that MTV had campaigns for it. So it's very, very possible. But there's plenty of celebrity, there's celebrities that have had, the issue. Obviously, we've talked about Magic Johnson on the show. Mm-hmm. In those sorts of things. But this is when it was at its peak as far as celebrity involvement and a big push behind it. Obviously, AIDS awareness is still a thing today, but it's so different because it's steadily becoming more and more a curable situation where you can live with it.
Right. I was going to say, I don't know that it's cured, but
basically where it's found undetectable in your blood. I guess you have it, but you know what I mean? You get to the point where you're basically not make it look like you don't have it. Yeah. Yeah. You got to keep taking that medicine, keep spending that money. Mm-hmm. Yep. Montreal Massacre anniversary, which, it's about women's rights and stuff like that. I didn't really get that heavily, deeply involved in it. And that was another one where it was like 1989, but there was tons of remembrances about it during the 90s. So Do We Have to Crew, highly recommend you look up the Montreal Massacre anniversary. Tell me if you've heard of that one, because that was one I did not hear about.
I've not heard of that.
It's one because of life. I didn't get a really whole lot of time to spend into it, but it sounded interesting. I'm going to look it up after the fact. But Montreal Massacre, this occurred December 6th. Now, the tragedy occurred in 89. In the 90s, featured major remembrance coverage and discussions on women's rights and safeties. So it's not good, whatever happened.
No,
and I feel bad I didn't study that because it sounds like it was really important.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
Women's rights just weren't time allotted, I guess.
But I just didn't get to it. I'm sorry. NASA Hubble Telescope of updates. In 1995, between December 6th and December 5th, NASA put out a bunch of pictures from the Hubble Telescope. And one of those was the Pillars of Creation. It was reprocessed, obviously, and then the image was displayed. But the Pillars of Creation, you've seen that, right? Mm-hmm. Can I say something?
Yeah.
I don't want this to sound like I don't care or that if you're really interested in it, that's bad. It's not. I just don't get it. I don't get glass. It looks cool, I guess. I don't know. It's just gas, right? Just sitting out there. Space scares me, though. Now, you know, it's probably my insecurities about space. And I'm like, fuck space. I don't even care about it. You're stupid. And I'm like, God, it's so pretty.
I was going to say, I think it's just beautiful.
It is beautiful. You're absolutely right. I just don't understand about, like, you can't get there. It's pretty cool that they can go out and find those things. Okay, I'll shut the fuck up. I'm being an asshole. Pillars of Creation. Awesome. Highly recommend. I'll make sure Colin puts a picture up of it. I don't even know. Yeah. But yeah, the guys, thank you so much for getting deep in the 90s with us. And again, you know, every week we'll review the week prior.
Yeah.
Sometimes better than others. We'll make sure and do more background research. But go to dowehavето.com. Tell us what you think about all the 90s topics we have. If you've got any 90 topics you want to be mentioned for the upcoming weeks, go to dowehavето.com, submit a question or comment to the show, and be on the lookout for our wonderful shorts that we do talking about 90s.
Yeah.
And speaking of Let's Get Deep, Emily and I, we're on a journey of self-discovery.
Deeper with each other.
We can, even though we're on 13 going on 14 years of marriage, there's still things we find out every day we don't know about each other. And one of the ways we figure that out is by playing Let's Get Deep by Relatable. By Relatable. Yeah. Featured on the show on Hulu, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah, they did the friend version.
The Wonderful Ladies Mom Talk played the friend version. We have multiple versions. We have the friend version, we have the family version, and we have the relationship version. Yep. And today we are going to focus on the relationship version, and we are certainly focused now this week on, or these upcoming weeks, deeper cards.
Yeah.
We got him. Pull a card live. Emily tries to, so for you new Do We Have to crew members, we like to do a live pull on the show. Emily tries to, the best she can, figure out what the card is going to be beforehand. I have to watch her like a hawk. Yeah. What do we got, Em?
I don't like surprises.
And our deeper card today is...
Which characteristic of my personality do you most admire and why? I like your sense of humor because I think laughter is the best medicine. And even when we sometimes hate each other, I feel like you make me laugh every day. And I think that's really important.
You hate me?
No.
There's times where you hate me?
You know what I mean.
I'm kidding,
when we're having...
Yeah. And I still tend to throw in some humor there once I've ever cooled down. But yeah, that's just who I am. You know, we're going to be talking about our health, here shortly. And to your point, I grew up, I was an athlete, but I grew up a fat kid that moved around a lot because of the military. So I think one of the things that I hung on to or was real important to me, plus my dad had he's a really good outgoing, he's a really good outgoing personality. He's really good at interacting and talking with people. So that was something that was important to me, and it was something I always got positive attention for. And so that was something that I locked in on, and that's still a part of me to this day. Yeah. Yeah. Can I tell you something? You know what's so funny? You know what made me think of that when you said the sense of humor thing, and I started talking about being able to talk to people really well about my dad. Mm-hmm. You remember the first time I met your parents? Mm-hmm. Do you remember what your mom said? Because we were talking about getting engaged. And they knew that, obviously I was a serial engager up to that point because I told them, I'd been engaged twice.
It wasn't the first time you met my parents.
It was the first time we went to Illinois.
Yeah, but it wasn't the first time.
So it was the second. Because they did come in town that one time when your dog died. And I think that was the first time I met them and your sister. And then we went to Illinois eventually. And I know we were talking about, hey, we're in a serious relationship. We're going to, and had that conversation with your parents.
Yeah. And just FYI people, we got engaged 6 months after meeting each other. So like.
Right. But at that point,
we
hadn't
moved
gotten
really
engaged
fast.
yet. Yeah, I know. But again, so it's easy on paper, I guess, to be like, well, there's some red flags here. And rightfully so. If you're a parent, I mean, I think those are questions you need to ask. But one of the engagements I was in was 7 years of relationship. The other one was 2.5, 3, right? And then as you're growing, I mean, hopefully you're finding out more about yourself, what you want, what your goals are. I think you make those decisions quicker, but I mean, there's no wrong or right way of doing it. Anyway, when we brought this information up to Emily's parents, they were a little skeptical at first. Mm-hmm. And I remember your mom even said, she was like, well, I feel like you're just one of those people, you can get along with anybody, And so like, is it really more that? And it's a convenience thing and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of interesting you say that. It's one of those things, I think it's a flaw of the personality. It's like, are you just...
Yeah. I think she also asked, because you had been engaged twice before, like, are you just wanting to get married just to get married?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is Emily just going to be the first one down the aisle?
I mean, it's a fair question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's where the joke, I'm your first wife, came from.
Probably so. Here we are 14 years later.
Yeah.
Or 13. Almost
still
14,
still your first wife.
That's right. Yeah. For now.
Yeah.
Make another fucking Marty McFly comment again, see where that happens.
Yeah.
But no, my favorite for as far as your personality standpoint, I like your, I don't know. Oh, Grandpa's clock's playing. Shout out Lester,
really
rest in power, King. No, actually, I like the interruption, and I like the fact that I think about your grandpa when it goes off because he was the man. Yeah. So your personality, I just think you're a very caring person. And I think the thing that's awesome about you is that it's not, because I feel bad because it may sound like, oh, I love your caretaking personality. But that's not it. It's your ability to, I've seen you be around people you don't want to spend time with or can't stand. And eventually you allow yourself to get to know them, make a good, firm, straightforward decision on how you want to be with them. But you're a person who your personality is like, you're extremely loyal. I mean, once you decide that this is somebody you're going to spend time with, like, or they're important to you, you do pretty much whatever you can for them. And I think that's something that really doesn't exist a whole lot of people in this world.
That's interesting.
Is that a personality trait?
Well, you always tell me that I'm not as loyal as.
Well, that's so. Well, let's pull back the veil here a little bit. I do have some insecurities about loyalty when it comes to our relationship at times. And I know when we've gotten in arguments, that's something that's come up that I tend to go back to like a hurt puppy all the time. You know, and some of the things we've talked about, which is on previous episodes, we don't need to talk about it again, but feel free to go and check out Emily and the episode called the one where Emily and Sean almost got divorced and the one where Emily and Sean saved their marriage earlier in season 1. And you can do that at youtube.com/Do We Have to Marriage podcast, all major podcast apps, or archive at dowehavto.com. But I'm getting really good. I might get a job at you remember the radio, how they speed up the things? Man, I might even need to do that for me.
Oh, like all the little
where they sell the things that are fucked up that you shouldn't be allowed to do if you're a company, but because they say it real fast on the radio, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
But I do think you're extremely loyal. I have some insecurities and times where I feel like I don't get that same treatment.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it's an insecurity. I don't think that's the reality. I just think that comes up there. And that's because of the past things we've dealt with, gone to therapy through. It's still always a work in progress. So we're doing a podcast on marriage. We still have not unresolved trauma, but trauma we're still processing through, even though we've technically gotten through it and resolved it with each other, right?
Yeah.
And it'll come up sometimes.
Well, we are not experts. We are not licensed therapists. We are not professionals in any standpoint when it comes to mental health, nutrition,
no, we're
parenting,
just talking about our experiences.
Marriage. We are just two random people who got married and sit in their dining room and talk to each other.
Absolutely. And you know what? If it benefits you, we're pretty much better than those therapists and licensed people that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars training and stuff, because if we've given you an example and it actually is better to you, then, I mean, should we get a PhD? I mean, that's up to you. Do we have to accrue? But probably.
No, we shouldn't.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, for allowing us to get deep. Now, hey, let us know, it doesn't have to be your partner or somebody you're close with, your friend. Tell us about how about this? Instead of you talking about your partner, if you want to, that's great. If you're married or have a close couple, you can certainly bring that up, submit a question or comment to the show, dowehavето.com. Why don't you talk about what your favorite thing about your personality is? I like to hear, what is it important? It's always kind of interesting to me to hear what people's important. So, assignment for the Do We Have To crew, reach out to us, let us know. And some of the best answers, we'll, if we get them, we'll put it on air.
Yeah. I like that.
I do too. And on this path to self-improvement and this journey of, becoming better human beings and a better couple together, which we hope then, as people learn about our mistakes and our successes, that rubs off on them as well. And they're able to make good, informed, proactive decisions as opposed to a lot of the decisions we have to make, which is reactive. There is nothing more different or more difficult than our journey when it came to our weight.
Yeah. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to talk about what actually works for couples trying to build a healthier life together, not just physically, emotionally, but relationally. You know what I mean?
What were you trying to say?
Like relationship. I don't know. What's that word?
So you can just say what it works from a relationship standpoint. You don't have to come up with a fancy word.
I don't know. But it was, we've done a lot of research about why marriages thrive when partners grow together, why divorce rises when one person changes and the other one doesn't, how communication styles impact healthy living choices, and what motivates certain couples to succeed in all of it. And we're going to give you some of those tools and communication frameworks and all of that stuff to help you go through that mind shift change and be successful, not just as a couple, but individually, and do it individually, but together, if that makes sense.
I love that. Very insightful. Very demure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I just think it's one of when it comes to physical health, right? This is one of the biggest landmine situations for any couple out there or friends or whatever. From a relationship perspective, I think this has all kinds of implications of really testing the relationship. And, I follow a bunch of marriage, like I used to not, because it's kind of funny. We have a marriage podcast, but I usually think that shit's bullshit. But, I follow all these marriage sites now and groups on Facebook and Instagram and follow marriage influencers on TikTok and that sort of stuff. And one thing I will say is a consistent theme across the board is that when one partner is really taking their health into account, a couple of things can happen. Number one, there's a lot of insecurity from the other partner. And then there's a lack of trying to meet them there. And then there's also where, there's some sabotaging that can happen too, where it's they try to prevent them from doing that because they're afraid of where that's going to go or what that means. You know what I mean? Or on the other side of it, as the person's improving their own health, instead of being supportive to their partner, or at least being there to be supportive if their partner wants to make lifestyle changes, they kind of start separating off and creating a wall because they're changing as a human being and they're not taking their partner with them.
Right. Yeah. It can go both ways. Why don't you give a quick little background into your whole journey?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And to preface before I start, hopefully nobody's expecting, if they see this episode and whatever ends up to be in the title and talks about weight loss, that there's some sort of magic workout, eating regimen or pill or process that's gonna, get them to their end goal. There's not. Here's the thing is, and I think David Goggins says best, the hard work fucking sucks. And, that's exactly what it takes, requires every single day of doing this stuff. There's no shortcut. So where I say, and this is the reason why I have, it's taken me up till my 40s to be really successful with my health journey. I grew up, I've always been bigger. I don't know. I can't really remember a time where I didn't have a weight problem. Maybe 4 and younger. Probably from the time I was 5 all the way through, pretty much up till 4 years ago. my weight would fluctuate up and down. Especially after my mom died, I was kind of like, in the upper 200s, played offensive line football and wrestled, all that good stuff. Was athletic, worked out regularly. That's something I always did, was work out. Even when I was really big, there would be definitely periods of time where I wasn't working out. I mean, even when we were together, but like that was something it's not that I enjoyed doing it. It was part of me and who I was. Like that physical part of exerting yourself was something that was important to me. But after my mom died, my weight went up really bad, like of almost 300 pounds. And then I lost like 100 pounds. And you got this repetitive cycle of like just going back and forth between that. Right. Mm-hmm. And because I wasn't eating very well and my weight was fluctuating up and down, I started having health issues. So the first one was hypogonadism, which is basically your body, because your hormones are all off and you're all fucked up from your unbalanced lifestyle and weight, your body starts naturally stops producing testosterone. So all of a sudden my testosterone dropped. Well, it created issues with my mental health. Huge weight gain, because all of a sudden it was like, I went from like 2 something to 3 something, 350. You know what I mean? That's when we're together. You know what I mean? And I started taking testosterone treatments, but like that doesn't just then correct everything that had happened. I had Guillain-Barré syndrome, which I had to spend few days in the hospital for. No, I don't think a couple weeks, few days in the hospital for, and had issues with it for a couple weeks.
It was over a week.
Okay, fair enough. I just didn't think off the top of my head. And Bell's palsy, which is why, I don't know if you can really tell, but part of my face is a little bit drooped, and that's never coming back, and that's from Bell's palsy. So I started having these autoimmune responses. Basically, my body started attacking itself because of the way I was keeping myself in shape. And finally, kind of fast forward, for you and me, I think I tried avoiding the responsibility of like what it means to be healthy. I don't think I was doing it on purpose, but I definitely don't think I was, as we were married and stresses and things started to increase, I think I only treated my body more poorly. Mm-hmm. And which means my mental health was off. And I know that that's a big part of the reason why we've had marriage issues, was kind of how I was taking care of myself physically. All that stuff relates and intertwines. And I got to the point where I was almost 400 pounds, went to get a colonoscopy because my mom, she passed away from colon cancer when she was 46. Going to get a colonoscopy. I think this was 5 years ago? This was 5 years ago. Yeah. Because I'm getting one next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
Shout out KU Med. Going to be going up my butt here.
Well, shortly. No.
It was 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, I guess it was because you were.
Because it was the year before we got the surgery. So I get on, they do the whole thing. And at that point in time, I'm pretty sure I'd sleep apnea, but I was, wearing a CPAP machine, just bandaging things that were symptoms rather than dealing with the actual problem. So I can't sleep because I'm snoring, can't breathe at night. It's not dealing with my weight that's causing it, to just get a machine that helps me breathe at night. Lay on the table, go out. Next thing I know, I'm waking up being wheeled in. I'm not thinking anything of it. My chest kind of feels funky, but didn't even think anything of it. They put me in and found out that I had stopped breathing on the table and that I was completely blue, and they had to resuscitate me and then bring me back. And unfortunately, after that, they sent me home, but I started feeling really bad. I got like a fever of 107. Had what's it called? It's not asphyxiation pneumonia.
Like aspiration pneumonia.
Aspiration pneumonia, yeah. And I had to stay in the hospital several days for that. And it caused all kinds of problems. And it was there that the doctor said to Emily and I, it's like, if you don't lose weight,
if you don't lose 100 pounds like now, you won't see 40.
You won't see 40. That's right. Yeah. And so it was a very sobering conversation that really made me have to review my own mortality, think about how I've been setting myself as an example to not only Emily, but also to our children, who are growing up and all they see is a dad who can't do certain things physically and is just sitting around eating all the time. And just in very poor health. That's normal to them. And I created that. And it really was really hard to take all of that in. But it was the one thing I will say, I thought and I just talked about this earlier about your loyalty. Like all of a sudden, even though that wasn't something you were really interested in doing or being a part of initially, your interest or your support in weight loss surgery changed right after that conversation. And all of a sudden you're putting all the energy and effort in helping me research it, get in touch with, we use Casey Bariatric, You know, I ended up getting the surgery the day after 2 days after you did, or day after you did. And since then, I've gone from being like, I think 402 was my biggest weight before we started losing a little, because they have you lose weight for it. And we'll talk about, you know, prepping for the surgery and all that stuff. I think I got down to, I think it was 402. And now today, I think yesterday at the Y, I weighed myself. I'm 175. So I don't know what the math is on that. It's 200 and what? No, it's not 200. Yeah, it is 200. It's 226 pounds. So lost about 226 pounds. That was 4 years ago this surgery took place. And so it wasn't like I just lost that. I mean, this is 4 years worth of work of consistently going down on the scale. So
Yeah.
How about, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take so long in that, but I feel like, that's what it is, you know? And I think most people that are in our situation, it's a lifelong thing you're dealing with.
Yeah. Well, like that's kind of what this first episode is just giving everybody kind of like where we came from to where we're going to go. So I've always struggled with my weight. I think I became acutely aware of it when I was in third grade. Like that's the first time I actually realized that like I was bigger.
How did that like, was there a certain moment? Like, do you have something burnt in your brain that you're like, this is when the light turned on?
Dance. I remember my mom pulled me out of a dance class because the teacher told her that I had to lose like 50 pounds.
In third grade?
Or I couldn't dance for her.
Oh my God.
And my mom was like, well, then she's just not going to dance for you.
Yeah, fuck that.
But I also, I mean, not that this is anything like to knock, but like both of my parents are bigger. Yeah. My dad's side of the family was all big.
Sure.
My mom's side of the family had a mix of bigger and smaller, but you know, my grandma always wrote down everything she ate and a calorie count. Like she had it right there by her coffee cup. Anytime she put something in her mouth, she wrote down how many calories it was.
So she was a bit over the top.
So like how much you're eating and what you're eating, it was always in the forefront. And we grew up in a typical like American household where
Western diet
food fixes everything. It's you have something to celebrate. Let's get cake or ice cream. You are sad. Let's go do this. Like
dessert.
I mean, food fixes it, right? Like it's the reason to celebrate. It's the reason to get together. Like there was no family function without multiple desserts and big meals and all of that stuff. And so I think I remember also starting Weight Watchers. I remember a doctor's appointment where I was about 12 and the doctor signed a form to have me enroll in Weight Watchers. And my mom and I started Weight Watchers together when I was 12.
Got it.
And then I remember...
Was there success in that?
I don't think so.
Sure.
Not for me.
I was
my mom.
just curious how it went. We'd never really talked about that. It's the first time I'm really hearing about it myself.
I remember in high school, I think we did like the low carbohydrates addict diet, which is kind of like Atkins.
Sure.
And I remember eating popcorn and peanut butter for lunches in high school.
There's carbs in that.
I don't know. Like you were only allowed to eat carbs like in a certain time frame.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But like I remember reading the book. Like there was a book about it, and like I remember we read the book and we did the diet.
Sure.
And I mean, to my mom's credit, any diet I wanted to try, we tried it, and she would do it with me. So like,
yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, I always had that support, but my older sister was teeny tiny, like super thin, all growing up.
Shout out, yeah.
My younger sister was the athlete. So like she was a gymnast, then she played soccer, then she played softball. Like if she was thick, it was muscle. It was not a weight problem. And so I was kind of like the odd one out.
Sure.
So then when I got to college, I was still bigger, and I joined a sorority, and we all had functions and things. And when you're with girls all the time and you focus on how you look and stuff, you learn some habits and things, and mine weren't so healthy.
What do you mean?
Like, binge eating.
I was gonna say, you got to be
purging.
You were throwing up?
Binge. Oh yeah. I mean,
you learned that when you were in the sorority?
I didn't learn it in sorority, but I learned that I wasn't the only one.
Oh, that this is something you've done to combat.
Yeah. Like I would go through cycles where I would, especially if I knew that I ate too much, I would make myself sick. Like I wasn't like a full blown bulimic.
Yeah, it sounds like bulimia to me.
But like,
did it help?
No.
Did you feel? Can I ask you? Because I don't know anything about this. This is not something I've ever done, and I know it's an issue that a lot of people deal with. And I think it is, from a media perspective, it's really driven around females. But I'm sure there's men out there that have the same affliction. Were you like you throw up? Wouldn't you just be hungry again? I know that sounds like such a stupid question. That's all I can think about, though. It's like you're just gonna throw up.
I mean, that's like
I guess
the
you feel
cycle.
nauseous for a little bit, right? But then.
I mean, that's kind of like the cycle. You would eat until you would throw up. Like it was binge eating, and then you just throw everything up.
And the thought process is like, I'm not taking in those calories because I threw everything up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, instead of eating food, I would drink juice or something like that. So like I would get calories.
Just sugar?
But I was just drinking, like juices, like.
Oh, you mean like processed squeezed juice? I mean, it's still sugar, but but it's actually from actual fruit as opposed to like you drinking fucking Hawaiian punch all day.
Yeah. And like you go to the cafeteria and you would have like a sandwich, but you wouldn't eat the bread. You would just eat the meat off the sandwich when you were in front of people. But then you'd go out and you'd be drinking. Yeah. So then you come home and you eat like half a pizza. So it was like.
I think college lifestyle.
I mean, it
really
was just
doesn't do good
stupid.
For your health.
It like none of it made any sense, and I didn't really lose any weight at all. But I mean, we were all trying to find something.
Yeah.
I remember Phentermine. There was a prescription that I got.
It's like prescription speed, right?
Yeah. I took that for a long time.
Yeah, I've taken that too. Again, see, this is all.
And it worked for a while, like until it didn't.
Sure.
And then like right before you, I think I had like really started, I was out of college. Obviously we were living, I was living with a friend. She was a sorority sister and she was super healthy, and we got a gym membership together, and like we would go to the gym and we would work out, and she was, teaching me like nutrition kind of stuff, and we would go, and work out. But I was also at that time, I was going through a lot of health issues. And that was kind of when I started my whole journey on being diagnosed with celiac disease, except it was being misdiagnosed and subdiagnosed with like PCOS syndrome, my thyroid disorder, my hormone issues. I found out I was extremely vitamin deficient in all sorts of stuff. And I was then diagnosed with endometriosis, and like it was everything but the one thing that like actually was doing my body the most damage. But celiac really wasn't something talked about that much back then. And I was losing weight and I was getting back to being really healthy. And then I think I was about 170, 180 when I met you.
Wow, I feel really bad now.
No,
I didn't realize you were that small when you met me. God damn, I put you through it, didn't I?
I was about right before you got sick with the Guillain-Barré and everything. I think I was about 190 something maybe. And then I was about 200 when we got married.
Right.
right before we had Seamus, because of fertility issues and stuff, we did fertility treatments, and those make you gain a lot of weight. So I was 220 when we got pregnant with Seamus.
I mean, we're also, will say, I don't think we helped each other at all when
No,
it came
we
to
got
like eating
comfortable.
and sort of, I don't even know comfortable. I think you just go through these lulls in your relationship, and I think sometimes you fill them with bad habits.
Yeah.
Thankfully, ours was, I shouldn't say thankfully. Ours was food. It was killing us, but like, it wasn't like drug addiction or, you know what I mean? Alcoholism.
Right. But I also think now people need to realize that it is an addiction. But we learned that through the counseling for our surgery.
Yeah.
But like there is a part in every relationship where you do get comfortable and you're choosing to spend your time with your partner instead of alone or at the gym or doing certain things. And so I think we definitely went through that phase, and ours just kind of stuck. We didn't transition back out of it.
I think we prevented each other from doing that. Not like on purpose or maliciously. I just think it just was one of those things like it was a level of convenience and path of least resistance. We could just sit around and watch TV together and just be together. And there was a positive to that, but then we're just wrecking ourselves individually.
Yeah. And then I gained a lot of weight when I was pregnant with Seamus. When we left the hospital after I had him, I was in my 270s. Then we got pregnant with Tegan like right after.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. And then Maeve, I was my heaviest when I was pregnant with her.
Yeah.
From beginning to end. When we left the hospital after having Maeve, I was 306 pounds.
Right.
And she was also by far my absolute worst experience with postpartum. I had postpartum with, I think, all three of them.
Yeah.
I actually think Tegan was more I think it was a mix between prenatal anxiety and depression, but I was still postpartum.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Seamus was 5 months old when we found out we were pregnant with Tegan.
Right.
So I never really got to heal at all. But yeah, Maeve was definitely my worst postpartum situation. And I gained quite a bit of weight then. But it was also when you were going through your most mental health struggles too.
It's so fucked. That was all going on. Like I think about that all the time. I'm trying to think how old Seamus was. He's 4 years older than, no, he's 5 years older than Maeve, right? Almost. So you got a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a baby dealing with a dad who doesn't have his shit together at all mentally. And I think about that almost every day.
But they had
you're right.
no
It was
clue.
all happening. I mean, yeah, you say that. It's just, but at the same time, it's like there was a period of time where I was absent from him. You know, and I want to focus on you. I'm just saying, like, I feel terrible that you have had your body ravaged 3 times, because that's what happens. I mean, your body gets fucked up when you're having a baby. I don't need to tell anybody that's a woman that doesn't know that. And then you are having to deal with me falling apart, you know, while that's all going on. So, I mean, it's no wonder that, you know, it's not an excuse. It's just, it's no wonder there's a cause and effect that, you know, you really had some issues with your physical health while all that was going on.
Well, I mean, yeah, but also I knew part of your issues mentally was my fault because I pushed us into having a third kid.
Oh, I don't think I was falling apart from a mental health perspective because we're having a third child. I think there's stress and pressure associated with finances. That's nothing anybody has. It's when you don't have your shit together, those day-to-day stressors, you can't handle them. It had nothing to do with that. So I don't want you to think of that. Go ahead.
But now I think we're both on the same page. Like Maeve completes our family. Like there's no us without our our
it's not even
third.
quite, I don't even know why we're just talking about it. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm so thankful we did. And we're going to talk about, I'm a completely different fucking like, I don't even know who that guy was. I mean, I know who that guy was because I was him, but like, I'm just not that person anymore. So anyway, go ahead.
But when the surgeon suggested that you get gastric bypass previously, I was like, nope, that's cosmetic surgery. That's just like the easy way out.
You were kind of an asshole about
I was
it. I'm gonna
really
be honest
nasty
with
about it.
You were, and it was one of those things.
Talked about it before.
I was trying to figure out ways to really rebound and get my health kickstarted, and you motherfucked me about that. You made it like I was like doing something mean to you by getting the surgery.
I did.
And that's all right. I'm not trying to shit on you. I'm just saying that's the reality. So if you want an example, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's been plenty of times I've held you back from working out or doing something because of what I had going on. But like, that was a time where it was like, I was trying to hit the reset button and you were like, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? That's so disrespectful.
But then
which is insane.
I realized that it was like really your only option. I could either be a single mom in the next 3 to 4 years with 3 very young children. And at that time I was a stay-at-home mom. I was working part-time in the evenings and weekends because we needed the income. But like for the most part, I was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be a single mom. I didn't want to have you not be here. Like, you were my best friend. I didn't want to be a parent without you. I didn't want any of that. Like, we needed to figure out how to keep you here forever. And if that was the only option, then that was the only option. And that was what we were going to do. And I remember going to our first meeting with the doctor, and he looked at you and he was like, okay, we've got this. Like, we'll get you done. We'll get you taken care of. Like, there's hope. There's an answer. You will be here to see 40.
Yeah, I remember.
And
that.
then he looked at me and he said, have you thought about doing it? I
also remember that.
And I said, no, we're here for Sean. And he's like, but have you thought about it for yourself and your health? And I said, no, I don't have a problem. And he said, are you sure? And I was like, I'm good. I knew I was bigger, but it wasn't until that conversation that I actually stepped outside and looked at myself and looked at, like, I'm on a daily thyroid pill. I'm on anxiety medicine. I'm on a type 2 diabetes watch kind of thing. I can't do this or this because my knee hurts, my back hurts. Like, I wake up in pain every day. I can't eat certain foods without throwing up. I can't do this because of, this issue or that issue. I have medicines that I have to take for this problem and that problem. Like, I was like a walking medicine cabinet, and I had so many issues. And it was just like, my weight didn't cause any of that. Well, maybe it did. And I also thought I wasn't as big as I was, but I was as big as I was.
Can I, and I'm not interrupting what you're saying. I just want to add to it. What's insane is I thought the same things, where it's like, it wasn't that I didn't think you had a weight problem or anything. And I don't mean that meanly. I mean, like, yeah, I knew we had weight problems, but like, I never associated anything you had going on. And it's so weird because I associate a lot of everything I had going on with my physical health. And for some reason, I had this mental block with you where it's like, well, she's fine. She sleeps okay. You know what I mean? She's going to outlive me. I just didn't even think anything of it. If you wanted to get healthier, I would have been all for it.
Like,
I just didn't think it was a problem. Like, the way that he was like, well, you're on the same track, right? That was the thing that was sobering. It was like, he said he's not going to live till 40. You may not either if you go where you're going. Yeah.
Like, I thought all of my problems were mostly like hormone and reproductive kind of issues, which, that's a problem, but it's also because I'm not my body's being suffocated by negative things that's coming into it. I'm not giving my body the proper nutrition. I'm not giving my body the proper amount of oxygen, and my muscles need certain things, and I'm not doing that. It's fat on fat on fat. And that puts a lot of pressure on your organs to work and do what they need to do. And so we went home after that appointment, and I started researching, and I mean full-blown research. And I think not just because I was afraid of the surgery itself, but the more research I did where couples had one person go through the surgery and succeed, they ended in divorce. And I didn't want that.
Yeah.
There were very, very few. I think I wrote it down. I think So not only did couples that did it together, I learned had a higher success rate of not just the weight loss, but a long-term loss by about 50%. So that's when both people did it. And then there was an increase in divorce rate by 15%. And those that ended in divorce were the situations where one person was more successful than the other. They lost more weight, but then they also changed their viewpoint. So the couples did it together, but they realized that they were each other's toxic part. So they still ended up in divorce, but there was only about 15% of those couples.
Sure. Watch My 600-Pound Life. You see it all the time where the relationships don't work out because they're either they're not a feeder. That's fucked up. That's like a sexual thing, isn't it? But it's like they're a enabler.
Yeah.
Enabler. Yeah. And they don't want them to get, honestly, like subconsciously, I don't want them to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like they turned it into a competition, and then it became resentment and blame and guilt and shame and all of that stuff. But I think we did it together. We did a program also that included therapy, nutrition, education.
And allowed us to do it as a couple, but also individuals too.
Yes. We had our other therapists outside of it going through things with us.
Mm-hmm. And they were all for it too. That was the other thing. So when we talked about it, right, when we double checked with our relationship therapist, shout out Heidi, family water counseling still, maybe, I don't know, but it's been a lot. Yeah. Thank you. She was all for it because, I think she realized that like a big part of the things we were doing with each other that were negative were possibly symptoms of the fact that we weren't physically healthy.
Right. And we'll talk more about like what the program entailed pre-surgery next week. But the day of our surgery, which is, the day of our pre-op appointment, which is the day we started our liquid diet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was 316 pounds.
Wow.
And I think that was the highest I've ever been. And, today I've lost 175 pounds.
And at times, I know, because sometimes, like, depending on the month, well, it's not, when I say month, I hope nobody takes it like period, because obviously that's not an issue. But you fluctuate, but like, I'm doing the math in my head. You're down 180 pounds at certain points. I mean, you just fluctuate between,
Yeah, like when I got on the scale this morning, I was 141.
Right, but you've been all the way down to the 132. It just seems like it's a fluctuation between.
Yeah, I go between like 138 and 142.
Right.
Yeah, but I still would like to lose about another 5 to 10 pounds.
Sure, yeah. And we'll talk about that too. Like what are we doing now, right? And but I'm very proud of you of what you've accomplished. I think I'm
really proud of you too.
So
yeah.
And if anybody's interested, especially if you're in the Kansas City area, we utilize KC Bariatric, and I have nothing but good things to say about that experience. There was a couple things that, and it has nothing to do with KC Bariatric, but there was a couple things right after surgery, which hopefully it's more entertaining and funny for you all when we're talking about it. But that I would have proactively prepared myself a little bit for. But we worked with Dr. Hamilton at KC Bariatric, and he was fucking phenomenal. Not only was he like an empathetic, understanding human being, but he really explained everything to us, how it works, how your body works, and then explained the process. And he did a hell of a job in this surgery.
Yeah. Next week we're going to chat about like what the therapy entailed of, like the addiction therapy, the mental health therapy, the nutrition and all of that stuff. What the diet looked like pre and post. We'll talk about some of the new challenges that we faced. And then we're also going to tap into how GLP-1s work and kind of what that whole new outlook is, because everybody is on something now. And instead of it being like an over-the-counter pill, it's a shot. And there's a trend happening now called the Ozempic divorce. And I think that's really important to chat about. And so we'll talk about that next week. But yeah, that's our background so far.
Yeah. And, speaking of this, we've talked about our health journey previously. You okay over there?
Yeah, sorry. Had to fix my paper.
We've been talking about our health journey a ton. And one way we've kind of channeled that and made it where hopefully it's something that not only we benefit from by staying on top of what we're doing during the week and how we're treating our bodies physically. We've also tried to incorporate our Do We Have To crew members in it, and that's our Peloton team. So Peloton, they came up with an update on their app where you could either join a team or create one. And there's a whole social interaction associated. I mean, it tracks your workout time. It compares you to everybody else on the team, not in a negative way, but just in a way where you can stay motivated. It allows us to communicate. And Emily and I, we've grown it from, we started out with 2-3 people when we first started this show to now we're well over 100. And we announce every week now where we're at in the middle of the week, because it typically ends at the end of the week. The monitoring, I think it ends on Sunday, and it counts that as the week, and then it gives like a top 20. We like to give in the middle of the week where everybody's at to hopefully motivate, hey, get up in this top 20. And we'd like to announce it and make sure that everybody is aware of who's in our top 20 when it comes to workout time for the Do We Have To crew. And hopefully that motivates you, to continue to get in there and be a part of that top 20. And we'll announce it pretty much every week. There's been times where we haven't. Now we've got a wonderful Amazon Kindle. Shout out Amazon. They don't sponsor us, but we have one. So now I can actually, instead of having to print it out, which was a horrible pain in the ass, Peloton, fucking put your team section thing, not just in the app, put it on the fucking desktop too. That's so stupid. You want us to use it, but you're only going to do it in the app. It's fucking dumb. Love you, Peloton. So we've got top 20 for the week so far. Okay. So we're midweek at number 1, who's a regular offender of the number 1 spot. Brown Eyes 19 from Birmingham, UK, United Kingdom, everybody. 15 hours and 38 minutes. Number 2 is Krabby Cakes. She ran the Chicago Marathon, just FYI. She's out of Kansas City. 13 hours, 55 minutes. That's a badass picture of her too, by the way. It looks like her finishing the marathon. I'm at number 3. Do We Have To Pod KC? And Emily will tell you I work out a ridiculous amount of time.
I
rarely ever crack the top 3. 9 hours and 12 minutes. Barbie Gal out of Kansas City is at number 4, 8 hours and 16 minutes. Number 5 is Peladonna Sorass from Kansas City, Missouri, 6 hours and 48 minutes. Lovely picture of you and I believe your husband. Number 6 is Ashley Spin 79. Beautiful dog picture with a Santa hat, by the way. From St. Louis, 5 hours and 40 minutes. Not a Runner Katie, Iowa raised, Kansas teacher, 5 hours and 23 minutes. At number 8, Rock Chalk Stelz from Kansas, 4 hours and 28 minutes. Number 9, Michaela Bryn from Kansas City, 4 hours and 20 minutes. Kelly E., Sunrise Beach, Missouri. Ooh, front of the columns at University of Missouri. I love that picture. 4 hours, 19 minutes. Fit Queen Lisa, Overland Park, fancy part of town in Kansas, 3 hours and 36 minutes. Wawa Nolad in New Orleans. Is that you got a turkey there? That's awesome. 3 hours and 34 minutes. Inspired _Jayhawk out of the Kansas City area, 3 hours and 28 minutes. Good luck to you this basketball season. Ashley St. Spin out of Philadelphia, 3 hours and 18 minutes. Raising Cane from Maryville, Mo. Shout out Bearcats, 3 hours, 15 minutes. Rich Tokheim out of Omaha, 3 hours and 12 minutes. Hopefully your Huskers do well in the bowl series. Shanna Banana Can, you run, I hike, 3 hours and 10 minutes. Relentless KC, 3 hours and 3 minutes. I miss your shirtless selfie picture. The one with the sunglasses is good too. Shan Rob 34, Kansas City, 3 hours, 0 minutes. Tied with Stacy Osterthen, a Mizzou fan, 3 hours, 0 minutes. And then at number 20, last but not least, Penny F. out of Toronto, Canada. Shout out Canada, 2 hours and 45 minutes. So guys, and there's plenty of people on this list here. We have pretty much a majority of the Do We Have To crew has workout timed every week. And so the top 20 is getting more and more competitive, and we'll continue bringing that up on the show. And Emily, how do you get a hold of us on Peloton? I, of course, am at Do We Have To Pod KC. You are
Emily_in_KC.
And you can follow us. You can join our team automatically. It's Do We Have To Crew. We even have a label that you can put the Do We Have To Crew on, as well as a hashtag. So continue to follow us on that. Join our team. We'd love to have you. We even have the ability, if you'd like, because it doesn't require, when you have the Peloton app, you don't have to have a bike. I don't ever buy. I mean, I've biked. We have a bike. We have a row machine. I don't ever bike or do row machine. Everything I record, my workout, is strength training and typically cardio, running or the stairs. So you can do all that. You can track it. It has GPS functionality. You can have the app and not have the machines and still be a part of the Do We Have To crew. We actually have, and I'll put it on our socials, and Emily will mention those here shortly. We have the ability to give, I think, a 3-month free trial for the app. And I think the app's like $40 a month, something like that.
I feel like every Peloton member has that ability.
They do, but I mean, nonetheless, we'll give it to you. So you have to know somebody. So you're going to be a part of the Do We Have To crew. You may as well benefit off and get a few months free Peloton app. Give it a shot. Join the crew. See if it helps you in your fitness journey. If it doesn't, no big deal. But if it does, and we can talk about too, as I don't know, maybe we have an additional episode. We talk about our whole weight loss journey and the surgery and everything, but maybe we start talking about what we do. Maybe as a third episode, as far as like workout routine and those sorts of things, where we still struggle, because food's still a struggle, right? So that's not going anywhere, and we can talk about those things.
Yeah. In the meantime, please be sure to check us out on dowehavето.com.
Great transition.
Submit questions or comments. You can follow us at YouTube at youtube.com/@dowehavetoamarriage podcast. Instagram, Facebook, and Threads is at do.we.have.to. Twitter is at dowehavtopod, and TikTok is at dowehavetoamarriagepod. And Peloton does not sponsor us in any format. Nope, they don't sponsor us at all. I would love for them to, but they don't. But
sure.
Holding out for that treadmill.
One day,
Peloton, one day. Until then, I'll still use your bike in your row and your strength. Me and Callie on the strength. I mean, I feel like she's my best friend.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, wrapping up the show, guys, here's what I will say. And I've thought about this actually a ton. It happened yesterday. We're at the gym. And I'm in no way trying to put anybody on Front Street by any means, but there was a really big guy there, and a guy that reminded me of me as far as like when I was at my biggest, close to the same height. Maybe he's a little bit taller than me, very big. And I was watching him work out, and there just seemed like, I don't know, there was a stress there, and I could be misreading it. But I remember he looked at, I work out in the evening. I'll work out during the day, during my lunch break from work, if I have the time to do it. And then I work out a second time in the evening with my son, who's had a lot of success since we've, one of those things, modeling, right? It was interesting because he watched Seamus multiple times, because the guy wasn't lifting very much weight, right? Big, it looks like, just newer, or at least getting back into the fitness game. And so he's looking at Seamus, who's 11, and Seamus is lifting a certain amount of weight, and he's got like the same weight, or in one case less. And I could see this look in his face, almost of defeat, in the sense of like, well, here I am, I'm an adult, big guy, and I'm lifting what I'm lifting, and I'm watching this kid, and he's lifting more than me. And it's like, in my mind, I'm just thinking, I've been there where it's like, well, maybe I just wasn't meant to be what I want to be. And maybe there's just people out there like Seamus Moose that just naturally are stronger, and it just comes natural. And it's like, he didn't see that we've gone 210 days in a row to the gym. Right. All he sees is the kid lifting a little bit heavier than him and looks to be in pretty good shape for somebody who's 11, right? You know what I mean? He sees me run, doing whatever. And it's not like a braggadocio. Like, I get it, because you don't see everything that's associated with that. And I really wanted, and the reason why I bring this up was not to be like, oh, hey, we look great, but I wanted to go up to him, and I wanted to be like, I was you 4 years ago. I was 400 pounds. I just didn't want to be insulting, but like, I wanted him to know, like, no matter where you're at, you can get to a much healthier spot. I am nowhere near where I want to be. Yeah. But I'm 10 million times better off than where I was before. And everybody can do it. It's just the thing. The reality is it's an every fucking day thing. Yeah. And you may have to do things like what we did, which is more extreme things, right? There's people that have problems with that. And I get it. But it's like, if you want to be your best, you have to be willing to sacrifice the most. Yeah. What do you think?
I think you should have told him.
You think so?
Yeah.
I wish I would have. I mean, I just saw him look over at Chambers a couple of times, and I was just like, I just want to tell him like he's doing the right thing, and he's just got to. And the thing is, it's not going to. You could work out 30 days in a row, and you're going to barely notice anything. I mean, it takes years now where we're learning that. It
because
takes
I still
years.
get really insecure. Like I realized not only do I have body dysmorphia now, but I definitely had it back then too. But I was an official,
thinner.
like I got officially like diagnosed with it post surgery, because when I look at myself, I still see the 316 pound Emily.
Me too. I mean, I don't feel like there's a lot of times I look at myself. I know I'm different, but there's a lot of times like I don't feel different.
Yeah. When I walk into a store and go shopping for clothes or something, I go to the plus size department and I immediately grab a 3X.
Okay. Well, I don't do that. I mean,
because like I don't believe that I'm 140 pounds.
Yeah. There's something mentally there that I still can't quite get over the hurdle of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're out there with you. Do we have to crew? Again, shoot us a message. Let us know, if you have any questions or if there's anything we can support or help, or if there's anything you want to be, have discussed on the show. If it's of value, we'll look at it and we'll do that. So dowehavето.com. And while you're out there and you're working out and you're bettering yourself, make sure you're not being an asshole. I love you, Elizabeth.
I love you too.
Wake up, I'm about to shake up every little thing, show you all that we can be. Come dance in my club.